You knew this was coming. You knew this was coming. Wes Craven's 1991 cult classic, The People Under the Stairs. Yeah, Wesley Malcolm Jamal Craven, as in the man who directed the original Scream films and created the slasher icon, Frederick Krueger. He was the eye and the pen, or I mean, maybe like fingers, because I'm pretty sure he was using the typewriter. He is the eyes and the fingers behind this movie. That's all you need to know. So go watch it. I have very fond memories of this movie. We had the DVD and I think I watched it when I was probably like 6 or 7, and I just knew. What's that meme with Bong Joon-ho when he's like, "To me, that's cinema." Yeah, that was me when I was like 6 years old watching this joint. Let me tell you something. The People Under the Stairs is not a one-trick pony. It's a home invasion film with reversed roles. It's a thriller, it's horror, it's action, it's social commentary, and it's camp. And not enough people know about this movie, so I'm here to tell you about it. I, of course, want you to stick around for the video, but if you, look, I'm gonna just say it. If you have not seen this movie, I highly encourage you to just go in blindly. As of right now, it's free to stream on Tubi and Pluto TV. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. This movie has the Zane Parker stamp of approval. So for all the ones of you not in the known, I will see you in under 2 hours. And for the ones who need a little refresher, let's get into this plot, shall we? But first, hold on. I have some news I want to share. I opened up a membership on my channel. I'm gonna experiment with perks in the future, but for the time being, I just want to put this out for those of you who might want to support me in what I do here on this channel. You know, YouTube as of right now is it's my only source of income, so most of my time is spent making these videos, and I love it. Like, this is amazing. I'm extremely blessed to have the little teeny amount of success that I've had. I've only got one tier for now, and it's priced at $2.99. You get a YouTube badge that goes up over time. There's different colors on it to let me and everybody know that you loyal, okay? You loyal. And you also get a Zane eye emoji. Every member has access to this emoji to use in the comments. Think of this symbol as saying, you see the truth. You see the storyline. You see the vision. You are one of the chosen ones, and your third eye is open. You'll also have the perk of priority comment replies, so I'm gonna tap away, okay? Just call me. The membership, along with the super thanks and the tips, it's all down there. It's there if you want to support your man, okay? You don't have to. All right. Now, let's get into The People Under the Stairs. We open on a close-up of tarot cards. A female voice is reading them aloud. Swords and staves, judgment, death, and Mr. Devil. The Fool card comes up, which this female voice tells a younger male voice this is where she got his nickname. If I'm not mistaken, the Fool tarot card is one of the most popular in the deck, to my knowledge. It symbolizes things like innocence, potential, spontaneity, listening to the intuition, and taking a leap of faith, if you will. The woman's voice points out how the Fool's left foot is on the edge of the cliff, but his attention is up in the sky. If the Fool chooses to turn around and not step forward to his unknowing death, he'll turn around and walk away right through the fire of the sun. She says only the boy part gets burned up though. The rest of him comes out on the other side, a man, and no one calls him a fool again. This is Fool, played by Brandon Quinton Adams. His mother's dying of cancer and probably on her deathbed. The tarot reader voice is his older sister Ruby, played by Kelly Jo Minter, who you may have seen in A Nightmare on Elm Street 5, The Dream Child, House Party, Popcorn, or a little indie film called Summer School. Ruby's got a pro-black friend named Marcellus Wallace, Leroy, played by Ving Rhames, who you may know from obviously Pulp Fiction, Baby Boy, and Mission Impossible, or who the real ones know as Holiday Heart. Fool introduces himself to Leroy using his real name, Poindexter. We learn Dexter and his family are being evicted and must be out by tomorrow. They're unfortunately 3 days late with their payment, and they either need to pay triple or get out. Dexter asks Leroy if the landlords know that their mom has cancer and that Ruby has children. They do, and they don't care. The landlord of the building they're in wants to tear it down, and Dexter's family is the last residency in it. No one's got any shmoney, so Leroy tells him, if you want some money, I know where you can get it. I don't like where this is going. Cut to a fireplace where we see a man eating barbecued lung.
Wait a minute, hold up!
Then this fragile girl who I'm gonna assume that's the daughter, brings him a drink. The camera pans back and there's a woman at the table sewing. She reminds the man that there's one more family in the Lenox Avenue building to deal with before they decide to tear it down. The daughter asks her mother what happens when that family is forced out. And this wench is like, I don't believe I was speaking to you. Speak when spoken to. That's what good girls do. So off the bat, whoever this mammy, whoever this woman is, she's on my hit list. I thought Fool was running through his hood and visiting a friend or something, but no, this is where they live. This kid got to pass a whole bunch of junkies and addicts to get inside of his apartment. This is ridiculous. Dogs eating dead animals in the corners, like, yo, this is the trenches. Leroy is going down a list of people he and Ruby know that have ended up addicts and criminals, and Ruby's basically like, Dexter isn't like them, he's gonna be a doctor. But Leroy argues, how we gonna be a doctor if he can't even afford to pay his rent? Well, Dexter sticks up for his morals, saying it's not right to do what Leroy is planning. So Leroy tells Dexter that his mother's got a cancer that they can't afford to have taken out, putting all this stuff in his ear that Ruby tried to keep out of his little 13-year-old orbit, and she tries to shut Leroy up, but Leroy covers her mouth and continues talking shit. Let me just say that this is the first of many examples to let you know and to let these characters know Fool ain't no bitch. Like, word, he jumped off of that counter and kicked that in his thigh. Leroy's philosophy is that he thinks these landlords deserve to be robbed since they don't care about the families or the neighborhood. Him and his friend Spencer had found a treasure map of the landlord's home in a nearby liquor store the day prior, along with the letter addressed to the owner and the name of his company. But the name of the company is the same as the name on their eviction notice. Translation, whoever this man is who owns this liquor store owns half the buildings in the ghetto, and Leroy knows where he lives. Ruby's like, y'all need to leave it alone. I've heard things about him. And Leroy's like, did you hear about the gold? And the way she turns around, she's like, the what? The letter in Leroy's pocket is from the company that wants to buy the coins the landlord collected. Ruby says what the audience is thinking. Why Fool gotta be part of this? And Leroy says, I got a plan that's foolproof. Knee slapper! Later that night, we get a short conversation with Dexter talking to his dying mother. She tells him to take care of the kids and be the man of the house. Speaking of house, back at the Hell House, the mother is asking the daughter, almost accusingly, if she was the one to lick her plate clean. And before she leaves, she notices the daughter's fork missing. The fragile girl drops on the ground panicking, and a ghostly white hand with rusty fingernails hands her the fork back. The next day, Dexter dresses down in a Bear Scouts outfit, while Leroy and Spencer ride around in the GMC van. Oh, by the way, I refer to Fool as Fool and Dexter. Both. Just get used to it. My brain, I do both. When he walks to the front door, we pass a sign that tells us this is a funeral home. And we also see the couple's name, Robeson. Dexter tries knocking on the main door to no answer, but the light flickering and the mail slot opening tells him everything he needs to know. Somebody is in this damn house. Dexter goes around the side of the house and tries again, but no answer. He notices a little pond of water and he starts throwing rocks, just doing kitty stuff. Oh, and the pond will come up later. For a half second, he sees the daughter looking down on him. The mother does end up coming outside, and Fool is like, he's like, "Good afternoon, ma'am. I just wanted to know if you would like to try some of these cookies." And she hits the "we watch what we eat" very carefully here while looking him up and down. Fool asks to use the bathroom and she's like, "Run along, Jigaboo, run along." He goes back to the van and tells the men what he could find out, which was nothing, and Spencer's ass gets upset and he decides to do this himself because I'm not going in on Sunday without checking the security. Spencer puts on a repairman outfit and heads to the house. She notices his skull ring as he tells her he's from the gas company, and after showing prepared identification, she lets him in. Back in the van, Leroy is getting impatient, so he starts theorizing that Spencer is up to something. And by something, he means grabbing that damn coin collection for himself and cutting him out.
Cutting us out. Spencer mess with you, he gotta deal with me too.
You can't say he don't stand on business. Mother's car pulls out the house, but where is Spency? Fool says maybe he's looking around a little bit, to make sure it's safe.
Maybe the president is gonna make me secretary of
Dexter tries to enforce that Spencer told them both to stay out here, but Leroy is like, nah, that little cracker is stealing all the gold for himself. Leroy got the Candyman hook and busts open the side windows. And Fool finds a doll that's dressed up as someone. Leroy's struggling to get the door open and Fool starts regretting getting out of the van. He takes a note how it's the first day of his 13th birthday. Quite an unlucky number. And it makes me wonder, is it Friday?
13th birthday is unlucky anyway. Too old to get tit, too young to get ass. Out of the way.
We see that they've just entered another back room section. I'm sure they have a name. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it's called. Before you actually get inside of the house. So now we definitely know that they're hiding something. A hand comes out and drags the doll that Fool saw earlier back into the vents, unnoticed. And when Leroy gets the final door open, the shelves along the walls slide open to reveal windows that go inside the house. And out of nowhere, a Rottweiler jumps him, tackling him to the ground. Fool taunts the dog, grabbing its attention, then hops onto the door frame, and the guys close the door before running in the house. There's a mini statue slate with the popular phrase, "See no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil." Dead flies are piled up on the windowsill, dust flies out the ceiling because of the rats running around. If you can afford a house this big, you can afford to pay for some cleaners. This is disgusting. Dexter is not feeling this. That black intuition is like, we need to leave now. But Leroy is not leaving without finding Spencer first. He calls Dexter chicken and is about to give more words of manipulation about how poor his family is, but he gets cut off as the ceiling shakes. There's footsteps coming from above them. Once again, Dexter is just speaking for the audience, saying that they shouldn't keep going, so Leroy decides to go upstairs by himself, and Dexter will be the lookout. A clanking and banging noise underneath his feet calls him to investigate and look inside of a door that leads to the basement. And I have a little question for you guys. Would you do this? Would you go down there? Because I wouldn't. Or if I did, I would grab a weapon first, right? But he doesn't. The reason Dexter goes down there is because he sees Spencer's clipboard and handheld sitting on the steps. So he picks them up, calling out his name. And there's an eerie whispering sound.
I ain't stupid.
I love when I see characters making smart decisions. He reiterates Leroy calling him chicken and then decides to go back down the steps. Take it back. I take it back. His foot triggers a rope string that's connected along the stairs to close the basement door, and a voice calls out his nickname. With his lighter in hand, he floats deeper into the basement. Dexter sees a flashlight off in the distance and a figure hiding. There's a static sound and there's voices playing somewhere. After climbing up some boxes, Dexter moves a TV that's facing the vents. A burst of light causes him to stumble back running and tripping over a body. Spencer's body. His hair and his skin are ice cold, and he's got a gold coin in his hand. Fun fact, the coin in Spencer's hand is real. It's known as an American Gold Eagle and contains 1 ounce of 22 karat gold. At the time they filmed this in 91, that coin was worth a little bit over $700. Something tries to drag Spencer behind a wall, and Dexter starts screaming and kicking, "Leave him alone!" He pulls Spencer back out, and part of his hand is eaten. What the hell? Cannibals! Fool sees an arm come out of the vent to move the TV back in place. It's very quiet. Fool goes booking up the stairs, and as if this is Bowser's castle, the stairs fall down and he goes sliding down. "Get up, fool!" And he does. He makes it to the door, and the door swings open. It's the daughter in that creepy dress. She runs off. The Holy Spirit tells Fool to look out the window, and we see Mommy and Daddy are back. Fool runs upstairs looking for this degenerate to find him on the ground, face planted in a vent. He jumps up scaring Fool, and Fool's like, "I thought you was dead, don't be doing that."
A man ain't dead just because he's laying on the floor.
Leroy claims he was listening to what's in the vents because he can hear voices. But we ain't got time for that. I need y'all to grab a weapon and get ready to scrap because the plantation owners are coming in the house. Fool tells him that Spencer's dead. He thinks from shock. They shoot down the hall, down the steps, into the kitchen and see the couple trying to get past the mob lock. So Leroy says, "Front door, front door." Oh, we have a problem now. We have a serious problem now. The father kicks in the edge of the door so the Rottweiler Prince, I forgot to mention his name is Prince, can get in and sick him. Leroy's ass tells Fool to stand in the middle of the living room as bait for the dog so he can jump out and kill it. But the dog doesn't even go after him. It goes straight for Leroy, as he should. As he's being attacked, he shouts at Fool, "What are you doing?" As in, I guess, why are you helping me? And this is such a clever main character move. Fool pulls Leroy across the foyer. Prince is still gripping Leroy, and Fool puts his hand back on the doorknob, shooting electricity through everybody and making them fall to the ground. Listen to what the mother says.
Get in there, Dad. Get in there and get him. Clear it out. Make it safe for Mommy.
Oh. The guys run upstairs and try to look for a way out, but as you suspect, the windows don't open. Downstairs, the mother is trying to comfort Prince, just as the father pulls out a caliber automatic. Ooh. He states the people under the stairs killed that so-called gas man. Leroy hides in a small closet, then tells Fool to find his own hiding spot, leaving him out in the open. Nah, f him for real. Like, you got him in this shit. Fool has literally nowhere to go besides the end of the hall. And when the father comes up them steps, he got a flashlight and the laser on the gun. Ooh! The same kid from the basement blasts through the wall where Leroy is hiding, causing him to jump out screaming in the hallway, and he gets blasted. Leroy yells out, "Run, fool!" And First, you drag me in this. Then you call me chicken and all sorts of other names. Threatened me if I wouldn't be the bait for Prince. Left me out in the open for dead. And now you're telling the enemy that I'm in their house. Leroy dramatically falls down the steps and we get a big old from Daddy. They're dancing in the middle of the room like they hit the lottery.
Hear what he called me.
He called you a fool.
He's a fool.
Okay, so he didn't register the context of what Leroy said. But still, him. Fool run-backs down the hall to see a doll dressed just like him and a candle in the middle of the floor. He puts 2 and 2 together and crawls inside the vent. There's a pile of clothes that are covering what looks like a bloody rib cage. Oh. And down the vent, we see the girl dragging the doll that looks like Fool on a string. So he follows the trail and enters another section of the house, a dirtier, abandoned section. The girl stands in one of the bathrooms, very frightened looking. And like a gentleman, Dexter introduces himself. We learn her name is Alice. She's staring at this boy like a foreign object.
Don't be scared. You never seen a brother before?
Never had a brother.
No, I mean a black dude. There's black folks in this neighborhood.
She doesn't know what a black person is, and she also doesn't know what a neighborhood is, which makes sense. Alice says she's never been out. No one gets out.
Well, I'm gonna get out. I'm a whole other thing.
And Fool's like, yeah, well, I'ma get out. The hell you talking about? We get some context from Alice about mommy and daddy. Okay, I'm gonna stop saying, I don't like saying that word. I don't like saying. Okay, let's try again. We get some context from Alice about mother and father. They searched for years to find the perfect boy child, but each one turned out bad. Seeing too much, hearing too much, talking back. So the father cut out all the bad parts and put them all in the cellar. They're each given food, and I put quotes around food, and flashlights. But they haven't put Alice in the cellar because she doesn't see, hear, or speak evil. A yelling begins throughout the house, and we learn that the heathen who's been running around helping Fool is named Roach. He got out the cellar and into the walls, and now the dad can't find him. This next cut is so abrupt. Oh my god, the dad comes out in this. Let me try to explain this without getting demonetized. Black belt, leather outfit, covered head to toe with a shotgun in his hand. I forgot about this because why do you have this? Like, why do you have this in your house? Alice tells Fool to go into the walls and follow a trail, but Dexter wants out, not in.
Sometimes in is out.
Period. The mother feeds Prince Spencer's hand, and that's when 2 policemen show up. So she runs to the intercom to warn the father. Dexter sees the cops outside, but of course they can't hear him because those windows are grade A. And the Robesons wave them off like it's nothing. The cops also drop the news that the van in their driveway was the vehicle used in that liquor store robbery the night prior. The mother recognizes the Bear Scout outfit that Dexter wore when he came to the front door, so now they know he's still inside the house. Dexter is frantically running around trying to escape Prince, and before punching him, he locks himself in another room. And the father damn near teleports into the hall, and this starts shooting. He busts a hole in the door and he sticks his head in, but Dexter pows that motherfucker and say,
You come in here and I'm gonna kick your ass!
That's when Roach pop out the cabinet and pulls him into the walls. This movie is so good. It's so good. Are you entertained? Are you having fun? The father blasts the cabinets open.
Gonna kill you!
And because he's a big back and can't fit inside the walls, he releases Prince. We do this maze running shot.
Is this your place?
Roach throws Fool's doll at Prince, who picks it up and then gets dropped into this platform trap slide. And Prince goes sliding into the kitchen. When the mother and father see the doll, they now know that the boy's been around Alice. Alice lets the boys in a room, and we find out Roach's tongue is cut out because he was caught speaking evil. Alice has a box of dolls of all the salesmen, workmen, and kids who have died or lived in the house. And we don't even get time to, just take a breather or just admire these dolls that she makes extremely fast. She made that doll like in the first 5 or 10 minutes that Fool was inside of the house. An artist. The damn dad busts down the door. Alice falls to the floor. Dexter is thrown across the room. Roach run back in the walls. This is so chaotic. The mother slaps Alice.
You little Judas!
She's like, it's time to clean the house. I just want to take a second and praise Wendy Roby. She plays the mother. What a performance. What a performance. This is a magnificent camp performance. So the father throws Dexter and Leroy down the basement steps, and the mother is just hooting and hollering as she throws Alice down the steps and forces her to clean the blood in the foyer.
Children misbehaving in the basement and one in the walls! You kids will be the death of me!
Foreshadowing. I completely forgot about this scene, so for obvious reasons, I cannot show this, but let's just say that Leroy is hung upside down like a deer and, you know, the father's munching, throwing bits to the people under the stairs. This is nothing a 13-year-old should be seeing. My God. But he's taking it well, you know? And the mother is still in the middle of her episode. She forces Alice to get into this boiling hot tub since she ruined the beautiful dress I made you and you got blood all over it. Yeah, she got blood on it after you pushed her down the steps. Mama, what is you talking about? Leroy's body is dropped into a pit and the father puts Dexter inside of the bin with the people under the stairs. This is the first time that we finally get to see a close-up of their faces and their designs, and I'm scared. But oh look, the floorboard chains open up and Leroy's body is pinned back up with some woo ghost sounds. But it's just Roach's sick ass coming to the rescue again. This is like the 20th time he done saved this boy. Y'all better buy him a new tongue when this is over with. The father sends Prince into the basement so Roach and Fool go hide inside of the furnace. Fool takes notice that Roach has been shot, so it's just a matter of time. But before he goes, Roach jumps into a hole to grab a black rag, where inside there's a coin collection. So Leroy was right. Fool thanks Roach, and in response he writes Alice's name on the wall and points up, before he lays his head down and his soul leaves his body. R.I.P. Roach. Gone, but never forgotten. Fool climbs his way up the vents into Alice's room. He punches the father in his 2-inch Punisher and then slams a lamp on his head. The kids go on the run, crawling through the vents, and just to be a dick, the father speeds down the basement and lights Roach's body on fire.
Burn in hell for getting free, and burn in hell for showing the way!
Causing the heat to turn on in the vents. But they bust out the vent and get inside the walls. But only Roach knew the pathway, so they have to find their own way, and all the traps and spikes aren't helping. Once again, the father releases that damn Rottweiler into the vent so he can
Kill him, Prince! Kill him!
But Fool ain't running no more. He lets Prince tackle him to the ground. The father enters this creepy candlelit sanctuary room with photos of all the missing kids and starts jamming his gun in the walls. Fool slams Prince against the wood at the perfect spot and the blade goes right through his neck.
Gotcha!
Actually, you didn't, bitch.
Oh,
Fool and Alice get to the attic and find an open window. As scary as it looks, Fool remembers there's a pond underneath when you drop. So he tries to get Alice to come on, but Alice is too afraid. In 2 seconds, the father gets up there and Fool jumps out onto the roof. Alice grabs him as he fires the gun, making him miss, and Fool falls into the pond. He got away. He is a survivor. I told y'all. My boy's a survivor. We cut to Fool and Ruby at the dining table with their grandpa, who says if the coins came from anyone else, he'd tell them to take them straight back. But then he goes on saying, but since these are so rare, I'll accept them. The coins are able to cover their rent until the year 2000. Once again, this movie came out in 1991. That's 9 years. What coin is covering rent for 9? Yeah. Grandpa tells Ruby to hold on to the coins until tomorrow so they can take them to a coin dealer and he can order an ambulance for their mother. Then goes on to tell Fool to be careful with that brother-sister act he got himself into.
Wait a minute now.
Yeah, mommy and daddy are brother and sister. They started out as a funeral home selling cheap coffins for expensive prices. Then they got into real estate and made a lot of money taking over people's homes. The richer they got, the greedier they got. And the greedier they got, the crazier they got. Fool hangs out next to his mama to comfort her, and Ruby comes in the room to let her know she's been playing spades. Cards. The tarot cards.
I done tarot cards on you again. They come up real scary. Don't go messing with them people again.
But fool, you don't give a damn. Man, them people. What you talking about? He said, girl, your tarot cards. Now what? His first order of business is running to the payphone outside of his building to call 911 and report child abuse. But when we cut to the house later, the house is already clean. Kinky cuffs just laying about on the table. Nasty. One cop finds Alice's room, even though the siblings told them that they didn't have any kids. But the sister lies by saying the Lord came to take her.
In a sense, she still lives here and always will.
Apologies. It's very painful for you.
We find out how they hid the basement with this moving shelf. When they go upstairs, the sister says she left the back door open during the entire search. So guess what? You just let a colored into your house. After climbing out the cabinet, Fool grabs a weapon and heads upstairs. The siblings can be heard talking ahead, and the brother says he'll search the ghetto the next day and look for Fool so he can kill him since he knows what's going on. But we soon find out that all that speaking was a recording, a trap. But Fool ready for business. He digs his fingers into the man's eyes, but the sister comes running out of a different room. So Fool beats her in the leg, not through the eye. Alright. When he swings at the brother, the weapon breaks. Womp womp. Dexter runs to the control panel downstairs to unlock the doors to the dungeon. The brother collects his handy shotgun and goes hunting for black meat. Alice is up in the attic with her hands tied. Fool climbs up the house's chimney and knocks down the brick that's holding her tie. When the kids meet at the window that they last saw each other, Fool tells her that the man and the woman are not her real parents. They stole her. Fool can't jump out the window again because Alice lets him know that the first thing the man did when Dexter got out was drain the pond and put broken glass and rocks at the bottom. So what the hell we gonna do now? There is a wire fence with dynamite under it, and these little TNT fun pouches are planted all around the house. They climb onto the roof to access the chimney. Meanwhile, the siblings are arguing because the sister wouldn't let her brother kill Alice. He's convinced that Alice and Fool were messing around, and then he calls Alice a whore, which makes the sister slap him. So then he starts choking her. This is a mess. Dust falls into the fireplace, catching their attention. The brother sticks his head underneath and gets a boink from a brick. Fool and Alice slide down the chimney as the sister grabs the shotgun, but they slam on top of her and the gun goes plummeting to the bottom. Fool orders Alice to go into the living room while he continues going down the chimney to collect the gun and to set the kids in the basement free. That wench is fast. She runs up on Alice in 5 seconds, trying to get her to spill where Dexter is, but she refuses. Alice stomps on her feet and tells her to go to hell. The kids in the basement start hooting and hollering, so the brother swings open the doors and bloop, Dexter is waiting with the shotgun. He wasn't thinking though, because the man pulls the switch to close the stairs and Fool goes rolling to the bottom. The brother gives his sister the handgun to shoot Alice before traveling down the basement and collecting his shotgun. But before the brother can blow Fool's head off, there's a knock at the door. Ruby. She confronts the wicked woman about her and her brother's morally corrupted practices and schemes, but ultimately she just gets a slam in the face. The sister tells her brother to go ahead and kill Fool, and right on time, all the kids in the basement point their flashlights, blinding him, and Fool ducks. We hear more knocking from a voice claiming to be the police, but it's actually Grandpa. They start hollering about the injustice in the community, and she says,
There's no community here. All I see are a couple of...
Hey, Ruby, right here.
go ahead, finish it. Finish the word. Ruby's like, what you gonna do, ho? Shoot us all. And right when she points the gun at her, Alice drops from the roof and bangs her head on the floor, knocking her out. In the basement, a hand guides Fool over to the lock, letting go right when the brother pulls the trigger, causing him to blow off the lock. Ruby, Grandpa, and Alice shout for Fool at the basement door, so the brother goes running up the stairs, but they slam the door in his face and knock him down. Fool tells the leader of the prisoners that the door to the outside cellar got left open, and the guy guides Fool to another room. And here we see a room flooded with shmoney. Upstairs, the mother's body disappears.
Oh, where'd that crazy heifer go?
Ruby runs outside and the door automatically closes and locks. The control panel system is overridden and all the doors in the house are shut down. Alice enters the kitchen where the sister is in the corner with a knife. One misstab at the door and they both land on the steps right when the leader of the pack busts through the floor, biting her arm. And suddenly, all the grown kids start coming out sections of the house and chase her right into Alice's knife. They finish her off by ripping her throat open and throwing her down the basement stairs to show her brother. I guess the kids really were the death of you, huh? Fool is going through documents in their safe and he discovers more explosives. The brother goes looking for him, and when they're face to face, Fool threatens to blow both of them up unless he puts the gun down.
I'm tired of around, so either put the gun down now or kiss your ass goodbye, boy.
I don't know why he would put explosives in the same room that he's keeping his millions. So anyways, at the last second, Fool connects the wires and jumps out of frame, blowing the entire room up and causing the money to fly out the chimney all through the front yard. You love to see it. The community getting their reparations. The trapped kids are free. Alice is free. Happy ending.
Fool, you okay?
Feel like $1 million.
Yeah. Yeah. Gentrification, racism, and economic disparity are just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to why this cult film is so stellar. You know, Wes Craven that's my pops for real. That is my grandpa. He is part black in my eyes. I said it. How cool is it that he wrote and put a young black kid as the protagonist for a Universal film in 1991? Wes was inspired to write this film after reading a real-life news story about burglars breaking into a couple's home. And when authorities arrived, the burglars had disappeared, but the cops discovered locked doors with noises coming from behind. Children had been locked inside the rooms by their parents, never allowed to go outside. Wes Craven is in my top 3 favorite film directors of all time. That man is one of the godfathers of horror. Absolutely. And I can admit, I do not love every movie that he's done, but goddamn it, you know, the heavy hitters, they trump everything else. He's one of the few directors, I think, who really know how to blend comedy, horror, and satire. Create such a unique tone and not have the movie be overtly cringy or corny. And the performances are just another aspect when it comes to this story. Brandon Quinton Adams nailed this. Wendy Roby and Everett McGill as the Robesons, perfect casting. Wes chose them after seeing them play husband and wife on the hit TV series Twin Peaks a year prior. Other than the one-liners from Dexter or Leroy, it's the absurdity of the mommy and daddy character that really take the cake for comedic performances. It's so grotesquely over the top, the mommy deerification of it all, this odd, kinky BDSM Confederate hooligan with his shotgun hooting and hollering. It's so good. All the callbacks and metaphors planted, the Robeson's house being a literal hell house with skeletons in its dungeons, how the house itself is a character, its labyrinthian layout with its hideaways, corridors that are rotting, slides, the chimney that goes through every floor, the booby traps. It's very surreal, very claustrophobic, and it all enhances the sense of dread and discovery. The line Alice says to Dexter about how the only way out is in. I mean, wow. This is a great metaphor for Fool intentionally going inside the Robeson's house twice with two objectives. The first time was to get money for his mother's surgery, as well as find a better place to live. And the second objective was to get Alice and the people under the stairs out. And going back to Fool for a second, I said this in my Final Boy trope deep dive, but everything this kid did from the beginning of the film till the end was for the benefit of everybody around him. His mother, his sister, her kids, helping Leroy. He helped Leroy multiple times. Alice, the kids in the basement, even the neighborhood. Fool is a hero. One of my favorite Final Boys. There was not a single selfish act in this entire runtime. And Roach, another hero, saved Fool's ass numerous times. But yeah, at its heart, The People Under the Stairs is about resistance and survival. Fool's journey represents a fight against oppression and exploitation. It's simply a beautiful and empowering narrative of the bravery and moral integrity of a 13-year-old black kid just trying to do the right thing. What are your thoughts on The People Under the Stairs? What moments or quotes stick out to you? Let me know in the comments down below. If you're new here, I would love for you to subscribe. This is a safe space. We talk about horror movies and nostalgic cinema. We have fun, we laugh. Give this video a thumbs up to support your boy and consider watching some of my other content if you haven't already. You can follow me on Letterboxd and some of my other socials in the description down below. Thank you guys for all the subscriptions, all the likes, all the love, and the comments. It really means a lot. Take care of your mind, your body, and your spirit, and do the right thing. I'll see you later.